A push in Tampa Bay tonight to cut ties with immigration and customs enforcement. A vigil in St. Pete is one of many nationwide as tensions rise over Wednesday's deadly ICE shooting. Communities across the nation are holding a moment of silence for Renee Good, the 37-year-old woman who was shot in the head while driving away from ICE agents in Minneapolis. This is video taken by Jonathan Ross, the officer who shot and killed Good. He has worked with ICE for nearly a decade now and was involved in another vehicle-related incident last June. Tonight, protesters in Minneapolis and here in Tampa Bay are calling for ICE to be removed. Just hours ago, more than 100 people attended a vigil in St. Pete. 10 Tampa Bay News reporter Miguel Octavio joins us live in St. Pete tonight. Miguel, Wednesday's shooting is prompting strong reaction.
And Dave, tonight's vigil is just one example of that. The Tampa Bay area is more than 1,000 miles away from Minneapolis, but the reactions we're seeing here and across the state shows the impact is reaching far beyond the distance. This packed church condemned the shooting death of Renee Good in Minneapolis.
We can do better than this as a nation.
Saying it's a moment that demands accountability.
I don't know if there's words to say, you know, to kids who lost their mom.
Emotions ran high as speakers renewed calls for local law enforcement to cut ties with ICE.
St. Pete PD and ICE must end now.
The outcry comes just days after Governor Ron DeSantis announced more than 10,000 arrests in a partnership with ICE, the largest joint immigration enforcement operation to date.
Cooperate with law enforcement officers.
Local leaders like Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd defending the ICE agents' response, pointing to Good's moving vehicle during the encounter.
That is a deadly weapon, a 2-ton deadly weapon.
Questions remain over whether deadly force was justified. U.S. force experts urge caution as what has been released doesn't show the full scope of the encounter.
You cannot judge it by the end result of just an officer shot a bullet through a car and struck a driver that's unfortunate, ended up in killing somebody.
And as tensions flare over the deadly shooting, this group in St. Pete is calling for change.
You really see what's happening to people, and it's so wrong.
And tonight, the Department of Homeland Security is standing by ICE agent Jonathan Ross's actions, calling this an act of self-defense. Meanwhile, officials in Minnesota say they're also conducting their own investigation. We're live in St. Pete. Miguel Octavio, 10 Tampa Bay News.